this time we
Hey, I'm D'Angela.
And I'm David. And we're work spouses. Yep, you heard it right. But not the type that you're thinking of.
We realize you spend more time with people at work than you do with the people you love most.
We're going to discuss the interactions such as the games played at work, building the right and avoiding the wrong relationships. D'Angela and I, we're currently work spouses.
Join us each week as we testify, help, and complain about work in corporate America. Hey, I'm D'Angela.
And I'm David. And we're work spouses. Yep, you heard it right. But not the type that
evening. This is our 15th episode.
We are pushing it.
Yes, we are pushing it. We're moving forward and moving along. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing. Let's get started.
Okay. So today's episode, the title is Words. They Can Hurt.
Words can hurt.
So then,
before we get started,
yeah.
though, I want us to kick off this without cocktail since
okay.
you're off of your fast.
Off the 7-day fast.
Yes. So that Daniel fast, David fast rather. I have for us this evening a French 75. Now, a French 75 and I go way back like 4 flats on a Cadillac because this was one of the drinks that I started drinking when I became the spirits aficionado. Really, okay. But not really. Because, I like a really good cocktail.
Okay.
But I realized that this cocktail is really simple and you can't go wrong with it. And the ingredients that's included in this cocktail, while I go over the ingredients, can you open up this champagne? Because we're going to need this to top it off.
Okay.
This is the main ingredient in this French 75. Otherwise, it's on the rocks.
You should have prepped me. What is this? This is like
just pop. No. It's champagne. You unscrew this. Oh my gosh, were you really trying to twist off the cork?
Twist off. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. You unscrew this. Take the chamber down. It's called a chamber, and you unscrew it. You unscrew the chamber.
Okay, like
yeah. So while you do that. Then you take the cork off. Yes,
gotcha.
I'm going to discuss what's inside.
See, that's how men are.
I see.
We're not delicate. It's like,
but I
see
get
something like
you just go right
off.
at it. I see.
And it's like, oh, no,
but then why you all get upset at us for giving you details? Because we try to give you details to help you out, and you
just trying to get to it.
Okay.
Okay.
You can put it over here. Put it over.
Yeah, because you don't want me to get on your.
I don't want to pop in my face. Yay! Woo! Okay. So, in this cocktail we have gin. Fresh squeeze of lemon juice, simple syrup, ice, and dry sparkling wine.
Okay.
And basically, so let me get started here. That's what I have in this shaker, right? Then I'm going to pour you some. So if you bring your glass a little closer. Sound like we pouring water here. I'll take most of it because I don't.
Yes.
But most of the cocktails that I make are pretty diet friendly. And then we're going to top it with the sparkling. This is Prosecco.
It only needs just
That's
that
all
much?
you need. Yep. This is a French 75. And you have your lemon wet. You have your lemon yours twist is like a lemon twist. So you twist the lemon peel. Cheers. So it's really that simple.
Okay. I mean,
yeah. I think I want some more champagne in mine, though.
Of course you do. All right, then.
If yours tastes anything like mine, you can use some champagne, too. Okay. Let's get started.
Okay. Let's get started.
So
we're talking about words. Talking about the power of words. Sometimes, we think that words can't hurt, but...
They do.
Honestly, they do.
The saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. I think that's a lie. I don't know why they teach kids that. I don't know why they tell kids that or why they tell kids to believe that. But it's not true.
No, it's not true. And, like we always do, because this is work spouse, so we talk about the work environment, the landscape of work. But at the same time, we like to get into our in-home, the off-site relationships and things like that,
right?
And to bring it home. So I wanted to share this story with you because it has to do with words, And so I was at work today, and both of us, we have a good friend. We just call her Jay, unless you want to use her name. It's up to you. We call her Jay. So
Jay is fine.
We got a good friend named Jay, and she got a new job opportunity. So she, leaving the company.
Yay.
We're happy for her. And she didn't. The last month and a half, probably last 2 months, she's been. She didn't feel welcome at the company anymore. She felt like maybe her time was getting short. Sometimes you could. It's almost like in a relationship, you could feel like, okay, this is kind of wearing out,
It's fizzling out. I need to find a new opportunities or a new fling.
Yeah, the boss is being a little hostile. He's micromanaging, or she's micromanaging me. So there's things like that, signs that make you feel like, okay, I feel like, they don't want me here anymore. So anyway, she had her own feelings, her own doubts, and she found another way out. So anyway, she told the supervisor on Monday. No, Tuesday, because Monday was a holiday.
Okay,
so
yeah.
on Tuesday, that she got another position and she's going to be leaving the company. This is my 2 weeks notice, and surprisingly, the supervisor was he welcomed it and he accepted the resignation and wished her well.
He accepted that he didn't have an option to do so.
Right. Yeah. So we'll get into that. Wished her well, and she said her feelings after that. She felt like, okay, maybe it was mutual. Maybe she felt like he felt like it was good timing. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so that was on Tuesday. So today's Thursday. So we go into another work site, and there's some younger comrades, coworkers there, mm-hmm. and they got wind of things that were going on between Jay and management. So this younger guy comes up, first thing in the morning. He comes up to Jay and says, I heard you got a new job. Good job, because I heard they were going to fire you.
Wait, a new colleague said that?
Yeah, little young colleague said that today. Yeah, I heard so and so heard, the rumor mill. So and so heard that they were the partners, they were talking anyways, and they were going to fire you. So it was good timing. So it's like, I don't know, So then Jay kind of just sunk in her seat. We're talking about like 8:45 in the morning. This is the first thing in the morning. Somebody starting your day off with, congratulations on your opportunity, but at the same time, they were going to fire you. So
that's disgusting.
Good. Right. So I'm not in the conversation, but I'm in ear length. So then the guy walks away, and he's young. He's probably 24.
Young, square, and underwear.
Like that. So and I could see that Jay was kind of dejected a little bit just off the news, even though she's leaving. But nobody wants to hear, I was
going to get rid of you anyway.
Right.
Good job.
Right. Correct. So it made me think about our topic again today in terms of words hurt. So I hit Jay up on the side. I said, hey, he the guy, he just showed his age, and like I see you.
I'm adding more sparkling to my drink. Yes,
I
am.
I said, the guy, he just showed his age. I said, I was very unprofessional. I said, I don't know what he was trying to do in terms of sharing that information with you. It was nothing beneficial to share that. So,
it wasn't at all.
Yeah, so then it just made me think about the topic. People say stuff, and what is your mission? What are you trying to accomplish? You have to always think about what are you trying to accomplish in your message when you talk to people. So what are you thinking?
Intentional. Like,
okay,
you need to be very intentional when you're speaking.
Yeah.
And I don't think this person understood that. Like, it was one, who delivered this information to you?
Right.
And two, why did you think you should have delivered that information to her? Like, I would expect to say, they probably told me that in confidant. I probably should not go and say this to that individual since they're leaving anyway.
Since they leaving,
like, what is the purpose of
and that's
this?
what I told you. I said, Jay, you leaving anyway. I said, don't even.
People drive me crazy.
Be bothered by what he said. They could have said that, but at the same time, they could have just been saving face and said it from a prideful stance or something like that. Well, it's glad that she's leaving, but we don't know, because nobody was there. Still hearsay, but however,
no, it's hearsay.
But what was the purpose?
I agree. It's hearsay because of, it was more so rumors, and that's gossip. Like, you're T- new to the organization, and this is how you're starting out.
Right.
You better be careful, because if you heard, this is what I'll be concerned about. Whomever told me this information will say the same thing about me. And will I have the ability, or will there be a friend in this organization or someone in position of that's a superior will tell me? No, I would hear it through the rumor mill. And that makes me concerned if I'm new to an organization, as in like, I'm not going to think, oh, this would never happen to me. I'm be like, if they do this to this person and they're leaving, they would definitely do it to me.
Right.
I would be concerned.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I just think that's really unfortunate. But because I know this organization, because I used to work there, I'm almost certain that this is something that they said to make themselves appear as if them leaving was a scapegoat because they found out that they was going to get fired or something, when in actuality there was none of that. So it's like, why the person who's in position of power felt, or superior felt, that information was necessary to spew amongst people. Yeah, correct. Like, are you insane? And I know this person, you know, I'm very much equipped of knowing the environment because I used to work there, but it's just like, you're doing it when you don't even have to. So you're actually creating gossip and drama amongst your staff on your accord, you know?
Yeah.
It's really baffling to me how people actually treat other people, and more so people who are in position of leadership and superior, you know, superior people, and you know, just, I mean, like, I don't get it.
So have you ever experienced yourself like hurtful words at work? Like,
absolutely, I have quite often actually experienced people say very, very harsh, derogatory words, do actions as well. Speaking of the hurt words is this, and I don't know if when I talk about intentional and being intentional with your words, I don't think I'm always intentional with my words, but because I'm so intentional with my words, I practice it more often. So there are times where I may say something that may not be favorable, but it's nothing to disrespect anyone ever.
Right.
And that's the difference. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's things that you may say loosely or not recognize how it affects someone, because everyone has their own level of triggers. So you really don't ever know what someone would say, what you would say that would trigger someone.
Right.
Now, there are some things that you may be aware of that may toe the line. But if you're saying things from and projecting them from your own experiences, then that's different. And I typically do that more often than saying things that will actually be harmful. So I'm more so intentional about my experiences or what I have experienced versus saying it to someone and making them feel like not welcomed, or making them feel like my words are trying to hurt them, or say things that's trying to make dismiss or demean them in some sort of way. That's not typically what I do, but I notice that there are people who do that, you know? So one of my favorite quotes is from Gandhi, and it says, "Speak only if it improves upon the silence." And I always found this quote to be profound, because it's just like, if you think about what you say before you say it, it might not be conducive for you to say it.
Right. And you have to think about, is it going to add value?
Right.
And it's
that's basically what that quote means.
Right.
Like, if it doesn't add anything to the silence, if it doesn't, if it's silent already, and if what you have to say does not approve upon that, do not even let the words escape your mouth.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna throw this twist
on
here. It wasn't on the agenda, but let's say, because we're talking about words. Let's say we all have friends, and sometimes we have a friend. They go through the loss. They lose their mother. They lose their father. They lose their spouse. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you don't know, you can't find the word to say in a difficult situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes people stick their foot in their mouth.
Yep.
Because you're trying,
all the time. Quite often sometimes.
Yeah, you're trying to do too much. You're trying to be the relief. And sometimes you're just honestly trying to be a good friend. And, sometimes it's best to just sit with them and drink champagne. But sometimes it's best to just sit in silence. So what you're saying in terms of the quote that you use is like, because sometimes friends in a grieving moment or in a tough moment, they don't need your word. Sometimes they just need your company.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Because you could do more damage.
Oh, absolutely. I think in those situations, you definitely have to be cognizant of your surroundings. typically I'm not the person when people were grieving, because I don't know how everyone handles death and stuff like that, because I handle death differently.
Right.
But when stuff like that happen, I don't mention death. I mention them like taking the time that they need to come to me and let me know if they need anything from me.
That's good.
I typically don't mention death. I don't want them to. I mean, you're already going through it. Why would I mention the tragic moment that you're already going through?
And it's the same thing. Like somebody gets fired on the spot, and they're your friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you say to your friend? And sometimes you don't, like you said, you might not mention it. Hey, sorry you got fired.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes like, you know, how can I help you if you need me? I'm there.
Yeah.
And that's But so selecting your words is very important. But even thinking about, you know, just hurtful words at work. I mean, sometimes they could come just in when your boss or coworker, they grade your performance or they criticize your work, say something like that, or even something harsh like maybe this is not the right career field for you. You know, that can be hurtful.
Yeah, that can be.
So it's like, even managers or, you know, supervisors who are listening to us, you know, sometimes you have to pick your words wisely, and such as, you know, maybe instead of saying, oh, but this is not the right career field for you, maybe say, oh, can I help you, you know, catch up a little more? You know, it seems like you're struggling with it. How can I be a better service to make sure that you are, you know, caught up and you're comfortable with the work?
That's ideal.
That is ideal.
But we have people who have their own sort of issues, and they will project onto others.
Yeah, but it's like, but words do different things to different people. Let me give you an example.
That's right.
So we use the same example. Let's say the manager comes to me and says, hey, you know, Dave, I noticed that, you know, you're struggling with putting that nice presentation together in the format that, you know, we asked and in the time frame that we asked. You know, we're going to give it to D'Angela to complete it for you because it just seems like it's out of your league. You know, so for me, that could be hurtful. And some people could just be crushed and be like, oh, maybe I am, you know, maybe I am sorry.
It's the word choice.
It's the word choice. Yeah, it's word choice, the delivery, all that stuff. But for me, it's, for some people, when they get words that are not favorable, it fuels them to prove that person wrong.
No, not me.
Right. But yeah, you know, not you. Right.
I'm not. I'm not in the approval stage of things, because I have to decide: did I take on this task? Did I say I was able to complete this task and fully execute it in a way that was presentable with gold stars? If you've assigned me a task that I never said that was favorable, or that I could actually get to in a point where it was like, okay, this is a great presentation, or you're going to get rousing, you know, accolades for it, I'm not going to feel bad about that. You see what I mean? Like, if it was my job, my task, something I was hired to do, and it was difficult for me to do, I think I would be a little bit more open to saying, hey, this is my first time working with this. I'm not familiar, so go a little easy on me.
All right, so you would speak.
You see what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying you would speak up in that moment, while whatever how kind of delivery the management or the supervisor is giving to you, where they're hounding on you real hard, you're going to speak up in that moment. Hey, you know, I wasn't trained properly to deliver at the level that you want, or whatever the case may be. Some people fold, and some people speak up, and some people come back with a vengeance.
Yes, you're right.
Right.
So I had dinner with Jay last night, actually. Okay. And we discussed this because she asked me, she said, like, what do you think I can do? Because she announced, she said, I'm so bad at, you know, speaking up. I'm so bad at not saying anything and just saying, okay, I'm going to fall in line. And I said, I understand that may not be your thing, because you look at me and probably think like, oh, D'Angela always speak up for herself. Oh, D'Angela always will, you know, take up for herself. And I told her, I said, it took me a while to get to this point too, because I realized that the only person that I was offending was myself. Like, I was sitting there trying to meet someone else's standard that I didn't even know was a standard until they gave it to me. And then when I didn't meet it, I had all these red marks, you know, like, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't. But it was like, wait, did I know this was the standard? Was I aware of this?
Okay.
Because you have to then say,
Right.
you're setting me up for failure
Right.
almost.
So you're in the position where, and I would say you do have a right in terms of the thought process where you hold the employer accountable too.
Yes.
It's not going to be, oh, you know what, D'Angela drove this ship into the,
The iceberg.
the iceberg. Right? No, you're going to be like, no, the engineer downstairs should have told me that we were
Headed to an iceberg,
Yeah.
and it was below sea level.
Right,
Like,
right.
'cause
So-
icebergs are, it's not, but it's below the surface.
Right. And that's not a bad approach.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I don't think
Because
that's
I think if you have high regards for me completing something, I think it's your job to make sure that I'm comfortable with that. Or because even if it's something that you say, hey, we know this is not your normal job task,
Okay.
but let's see how you can manage this because we want you to kind of grow a little bit. We understand that it's not, but you see how that's a
Right.
different
Okay.
conversation where that's more so like a learning environment versus I'm trying to trap you into.
Okay, let's say
You
you
know?
were properly trained and you were equipped to knock it out the park.
Okay.
But you did not knock it out of the park. You only got them to second base, and they said, you know what, you dropped the ball on this. You
Okay.
know, this was supposed to be a home run.
And that's fine because then that opens up. But you have to be willing to have the discussion because then I'm gonna say, okay, what was it that wasn't favorable?
what it was. All right, I'm just playing.
Oh, yeah. We really gonna have a problem if you start yelling at me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
calling
yeah.
security.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
no, but seriously, like you really
Uh-huh.
have to be open up for discussions, not just to give them. You have to also be open up to receive it.
Uh-huh.
As the person who you given a task, I didn't achieve it to your level of success. I'm going to ask you, well, this is my level of success. What does your level of success look like? Because you never told me that. You see what I mean? About like, you really have to outline those things in the beginning because then you say, well, that was never a part of what you told me. You never made that of an importance of what, you started to go into like and this is what I want more people to do. But I do realize that sometimes this quote unquote, because this can be a challenge to some employers. And and they can seem that you're trying to challenge them as if they
Correct.
don't know.
Yeah, now
but
that-
they're
yeah.
actually doing the same thing to you. Because they don't know what you know, and it just, so it's really a rock and a hard place. But I do believe because of our whole theme of the topic of like the words and how they hurt, I think words are very important. They're very imperative to how you deliver any message.
Yeah.
You can deliver the most harsh message, but still it is understood and conveyed by someone because you have selected certain words and certain ways that you have delivered it. I mean, think about it. We have preachers. We have spiritual advisors. These people heal, hurt,
Yeah.
harm. Like they do so
Manipulate.
many with their
Right.
words. Like words are very powerful. And if we have people like a preacher who can make someone feel connected to their spirituality, as same as someone who, give me some horrible,
But the same, but then that same preacher could have a gift of words, and they could make you give beyond
Exactly.
your comfort zone.
persuasive or
They can be
persuasive with their
persuasive.
words have meaning
They can
because
manipulate.
Yes,
They
words can do a
yeah.
lot of those things because of how you actually formate them.
Right.
Like
the way you form it, the way you piece it
Yeah.
together. I mean, there's a gift to delivery. Just like anything, sometimes you see a guy with this bad girl, and it's like, how did he get this girl? And it's like, man, he got game.
No, it's not even he got game. Let me tell you, I know what it is
Okay.
because I was that girl. That happened to me actually.
Okay.
Not moving too fast on the topic,
Okay.
but I used to be with this person that everyone felt like he shouldn't have been with me.
Okay.
And I was like, what do you mean? Like, how do you look at someone and say that? So when that happened, I was like, this person treats me like walking gold. Are you kidding me? Like, literally, like, do you understand that the way you treat someone
No, I'm with
will take you further than any, I don't care
But-
what you look like.
But you can't get to that treatment unless you have the right persuasive word to convince
You
them.
think they're persuasive or that's just their personality? I don't think it's necessarily the wordplay because I think somebody who can look good has wordplay.
Yeah,
I know a
no.
lot of charming.
Right.
Look at Future.
Okay.
Look at. I
Okay,
know
let
a
me-
lot
let
of
me give
charming
you this.
people
Okay,
who
let's say-
got some words probably.
Okay, I see you on the street, and the opinion is that you are too good for me, and you have no business being with me, right? because of my appearance or
Yep,
whatever.
your appearance.
My
That's
appearance.
your appearance. That's
Right.
it.
But even deep down inside for you, you're like, I'm not really attracted to him. So the only way for me to get a shot at you is I need to put some words together that is going to intrigue you.
Yes, charming. Yeah.
Right.
Charming
Right.
is a part of it,
Right.
but at the same time.
But I understand the words are not going to keep you.
Exactly.
It's the treatment. I understand
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, so
you just
I
said the
got you
looks
then.
didn't.
I got
Because
you
if
then.
I was solely here for your looks, this would be a totally different situation. Because people are in relationships or in situationships because of looks.
Right, yeah. And
And that person's not treating them great at
Yeah,
all.
and a lot of people are not looking for substance. Yeah, I'm with her. Yeah, she's bad. I know she can't cook. I know she don't got no job. But look at her. She's fine. Right. I understand that. Right.
Oh, I know he ain't got no job, but his game is good. So
Right.
it's blank.
Right.
You know what I mean? Feeling the blank.
Right. Yeah, and that's, so, but the words, like I said, the words are powerful. So let me ask you this.
Nope.
Go ahead.
I was
you got
going to
it.
ask you, David, you're going to stop doing this to me.
Okay.
So I was going to ask you, maybe it's the same question. Have you experienced someone, an employer, saying something to you hurtful? I mean, even if I know your personality is very like, you and I are similar in this way. We take a lot of things off the chin.
Yeah.
And we laugh about it, we joke
Yeah,
about it
yeah.
indirectly. It's almost like we're kind of like underpaid comedians a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like that's what it's like. You laugh at your pain a little bit because like I can make light of my pain all the time. I typically don't take a lot of things serious, and I feel like you're the same way. So has there been anything that really like, that cut deep? Like that one time maybe?
Right. I mean, I'm trying, I knew this topic was coming, and I thought about it.
Did you?
But I can't recall someone, even in my whole adult life working,
And saying something to you that would hurt you or stung?
like right. I mean, it's like my relationships with coworkers have always been positive.
Okay.
Not are at least respectful.
Okay.
Have I been I remember being accused of something that I did not do, and it got elevated, but it wasn't words. It wasn't like
the words.
that it wasn't directly to me, and it wasn't hurtful. But in terms of like being critiqued by a supervisor, I had a supervisor. She was a female, African American female, and she had a standard for me.
Okay.
So therefore, her criticism.
Oh, she had a standard that was basically a unidentified standard, like because she didn't let you know the standard, or did you know the standard?
I knew the standard.
Okay.
I
Well,
knew,
then that's different.
Yeah, that's different. I knew the standard, so I knew that my work was going to be judged hard. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
So I'm probably 26, 25 years old.
You were young.
And now I'm sending out emails to professional people and talk contract related things like that. And she said, put me on, CC me on the emails. I was new to her office, so then she brought me in, read the email, and she worked with me in terms of, okay, you need to get sharper on your email, your tone, your delivery, blah blah, word choices. However, so that's not. She was critical, and she may have even said some hurtful things in that meeting.
It seemed like her delivery wasn't necessarily so mentoring.
Right.
Like, it was more so like.
And I knew the destination that she wanted me to get to, so therefore I knew that I'm going to have to receive.
But did she identify that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because see, that's what I'm concerned
Right,
about.
yeah.
Is someone say, "Hey, David, I really want you to excel here, and these are some pointers and how you can do better." You see how the word choice is a little different than
word choices, right? And if you so then I'll even say this: even if you are going to write somebody, because let's say you see something. You have a junior employee, you see something in them that reminds you of yourself or somebody that you know. So then, therefore, be upfront with them. Hey, I see something in you, so therefore, I'm going to hold you accountable to this standard. And that is okay if they accept that mentorship. But if they say they don't want that mentorship, then you got to back off.
Exactly.
Okay.
I agree. No, I totally agree. But I think when it comes to the work environment, that's a rock and a hard place because you are showing favoritism to that individual person because they remind you of that. Whereas you're not actually opening yourself up to others who actually may want that mentorship.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean? So I think you have to really be a little cautious when saying those type of words to one employee because look at your example that you gave in the beginning. This individual said to you or mentioned to the person, oh, I heard you was getting fired. Like, what type of mentorship is that?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, so when you say something to one person, they will very much well take it to other people, and that can make them feel some type of way towards you indirectly. So you're already having a silent argument, or having others have a silent argument about you before they actually you have the chance to get to know them or talk to them on a one-on-one basis.
Right. And I'm going to kind of detour a little bit on this.
I'm okay with that.
There is some favoritism does happen at work.
Absolutely, all the time.
Is favoritism wrong? It's wrong when you are giving someone an unfair advantage and you're maybe...
That's what favoritism is, David. You're defining favoritism.
No, but no. Okay. I mean, okay.
You're answering your own question.
No,
you think about that?
But I think it's a natural instinct for people to find something. You know, you got a group of people. You're coaching people. You got 9 people on the team. It's like... It's natural for a person to say, hey, this person really got some talent. You know, I'm going to
So
play
do you
them
think
a
it's
little bit
fair
more.
in sports when the coach favor one player over the others?
Yeah. If
Okay, then.
Because
There's your answer, David.
What?
There's your answer.
But so then, like I said, let's say in work, let's say you have an employee that's getting paid more than everybody else.
I don't have nothing to do with that.
So then.
Because I don't know how much everyone's getting paid. I'm not going around surveying that. But if I can actually see you favoring someone by giving them opportunities, allowing them to go on travel and grow, and not doing the same for others, I'm actually able to see that favoritism versus me not knowing how much you're increasing their pay. Because we're not talking about compensation.
Okay,
you know,
so
on a day-to-day
let me
basis.
just keep it real. So there's favoritism at work.
Yes.
And I've been on the end of being the favorite a few times.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, David.
Okay.
Listen, guys, you don't understand how long I have told David he was the favorite when we first met, and he was like, "No, it's you. You're not the way you're saying things." I said, "Okay," gave it some time because y'all know I can be patient in my own way.
So this is for my listeners who are been in my seat, in the favorite seat. I mean, you just
I've
have
been in the favorite seat too.
I'm sure. You just
Jeez.
Yeah. The discretion, you can't use that. You can't display it. You have to.
You can't display it, but look who's putting you in an awkward position. Your employer is putting you in an awkward position, or your superior, your manager, whomever it is that's favoring you over everyone else, because everyone recognizes that you are the favorite. It is not. No one's oblivious really to it. They recognize. Because conversations happen, things take place. So it can be at the minimum level. Hey, yeah, guys, I had to call out and do this. And you did it last minute? Yeah, I called out because I couldn't. Well, when I asked to call out, they gave me the 3rd degree on why, what time. I need a doctor's note.
Yeah.
So
I'm not with that. Yeah.
You'll be surprised how people will
Yeah.
underlying know that you're the favorite without you even giving ample amount of detail, you know, like you're not even giving ample amount of detail for them to recognize, like, wow, that's interesting because for me, they gave me the 4th degree, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, it happens. You don't, I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to speak up and stand up for what's right.
Right.
Even if you're the favorite person.
I agree with that.
And you witness.
But how do you, so then that's my
do
question to you, David, because
okay.
that was
This
a
is how I'm
question.
gonna do it. Okay.
No, wait.
I'm
'Cause
gonna
that was the dinner question that Jay and I had this discussion about. She asked me. She said, "What do I do? How do I actually proceed forward now that she's leaving the organization, and now that this has taken place?" She asked me. She said, "What do you do?" And she said, "What advice would you give me to send myself off?" So, you know, as far as like I'm leaving the organization, this has happened, and she has said, like, how do I do these things? How do I know? How do I do this? How do I go about this in a professional manner? And the thing is, everything that she mentioned it showed that she was very scared and afraid to do anything because she felt like they would harm her career or her future career.
Okay, let me jump in there. Because what I didn't like about the Jay thing, and she may share this with you or not, is she wasn't honest about why she's choosing to go work at a different company.
Wait,
And
you didn't like that she wasn't honest?
she was not honest. So when the supervisor asked, hey, Jay, why are you leaving? May I ask you? Because he did ask.
Okay.
The second day, not on that the day one, but the second day of sitting with the news, he said to her, he said, just curious, why aren't you staying with the company?
I see.
And she said, oh, just a better opportunity and whatever.
She mentioned
blah,
that to
blah,
me as well. Yep.
Instead of saying, I feared for my job
Safe
every
security.
Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I couldn't talk to you or whatever what her truth was.
Yep.
So now, how am I going to do it after she leaves? Because it's going to be brought up. Oh, what do you think about Jay leaving? I'm like, well, I understand why she left. Because she wasn't comfortable, blah blah, and I'm gonna have to tell him
the truth.
The truth.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that because the advice that I gave her was to tell the truth. So
she
will. She will. I promise you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because she asked me, because we discussed what you mentioned about how she did not tell the truth initially, and the reason she did not tell the truth is because she didn't want to make this exit any more of a issue than it had to be before she left. Because I'm still on staff, you can still mess with my paycheck, all these things.
But it comes down to words.
It comes down to words.
Okay.
So, and not everyone is equipped to do so. You have been around the Marbury bush a few times, so you know how to choose certain words selectively, and because of also your position. You're the favorite. You mentioned, like, if you're the favorite, I don't care what you say to them. It can be favorable,
Yeah, but delivery, word choice.
Delivery,
still
does,
something,
but also it works in your position too if you're the favorite, no matter what.
I give you that.
Because even if you're misunderstood, they'll be like, wait, I'm not understanding you. Are you sure you mean that? They will ask you if you mean what
grace.
you said.
Yeah, you get more grace.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I mentioned to her was like, hey, I think you should actually send a letter to them on your last day.
Email.
Yes.
Okay.
And I do not think you should send it to the person that you told that's been your immediate supervisor.
Okay.
Because if you've had most of your issues with that individual, it falls by the wayside. Because that person is not the president of the company, I do not think you should address that person. I think you should address the person who's not on the day-to-day in and out task of seeing why you are actually leaving.
Okay.
And also, I mentioned relationships. So going back to what you said about being a favorite, she has more of a relationship with a different individual in the company.
Gotcha.
I think she should address that individual because of that relationship. Do you understand?
I'm following.
So if you have a better relationship with someone else, because that's kind of the choice of words and the choice of people. That person will hear you differently to deliver your message to that person that don't see you or hear you differently.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So is she going to do it?
I believe she will, because I mentioned it. I said I think you should send a honest, very tactful email regarding your experience and why you're actually uncomfortable in the environment in which you have worked.
Okay. So moving along, because I want to get to a few more points for the episode.
Let's move along then.
Right. I like that. So this says, how about in a platonic relationship or even a romantic relationship?
Oh my gosh, I was going to ask you the same thing.
Okay, well, you can ask me.
Okay, so in a relationship,
Okay.
have anyone said anything harsh to you
I'm sure.
or
Oh,
a friendship?
Not a friendship.
I didn't think so. That's why I wanted to know about relationships. So moving on.
Right. Not a friendship, not even a family member. Because, sometimes family members, they critique you too. They, critique your lifestyle.
Family can be harsh.
Yeah, and there were times I think my mom gave me some honest truth. But sometimes truth is the truth, and you can't get mad at they said the defense for defamation of character is truth.
Yeah,
they're telling the truth.
The defense of say that slowly.
Yeah, so
the people can hear you, David.
For defamation of character, the only defense to that is if you're telling the truth.
Oh,
so I can be out there and saying, hey, DeAndre did this, DeAndre did that, and tell the news that, and you could say, hey, that's defamation of character, I'm going to sue you. But if what I'm saying is the truth, that's a defense, and
yeah, okay,
yeah. So
I never heard that phrase before.
So if my mom is telling me something about my lifestyle as a young man coming up, and even though it could have been a struggle for me, but if she showed me an accurate mirror, I can't get mad at that.
But how do you know if it's accurate or not? Like, how do you determine that when the critique is not favorable? Like, critique isn't usually favored.
It could be, it could be subjective because you have to have some type of evidence.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
That's my level of critique. So I think I welcome critique. I do. I would like to think that I'm welcoming to critique as well. Okay. But of course, we all think we're welcome to everything. We think we're the gleam of our own sunshine. Mm-hmm. But no, it's really what you're critiquing me about and exactly if it's a critique or an attack.
Right. So
if you have facts on what you're critiquing me about, I'm right. You're right. I never noticed it. Dang, that slipped past me. I didn't catch it.
True.
But if you have no facts, I can't respect you. And that's literally how I almost work in all of my relationships, romantic, friendships, and I'm learning because this past week, true story. This past week, I wanted to let this guy know that I didn't want to date him anymore.
Okay.
And I didn't really want to go into details as to why. Because I knew because of our little spats or disagreements that he wouldn't be receptive to hearing the critiques.
Correct.
Because he just seems like, oh, I got it. I knows my way, blah, blah, blah. So I end up sending him he asked me because he recognized my distance and said, do you not want me to call you anymore? Or text you, via text. Like, do you not want me to contact you more? And I sent a long message because, again, I knew that if I spoke to this person, they would not listen to me. Gotcha. They would do too much to not listen to what exactly I'm saying. So I sent a long message stating very much high-level things like saying, hey, I recognize that your idea of partnership and my idea of partnership is different, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like going through the gamut of like, and with that, I prefer to have, and at the end of it, I prefer to have an environment in which everyone, both parties, feel safe and comfortable with expressing themselves, whether or not they agree. Like I ended the text like that. His response was, "There's a lot of finger pointing, blah blah blah." I didn't know what else to. This is exactly why I sent the message because I realized that like I'm not welcomed, or you're not listening to anything that I'm saying. So then when I start to blast off facts, his facts are very obscure from actually the things that took place or my perspective. So then I started to think like, I think I actually favor integrity over honesty more. Because and I'm still toying with this and trying to figure it out is because honesty is to your discretion. You can say, well, I didn't tell you about this because I knew it would hurt you. Okay. That's honest. But integrity is fairness. So whether or not it'll hurt me or not, I'm still going to let you know. Because that's the type of person I am in all my relationships. I want the truth whether it hurts me or not. I don't want the truth just because it's your truth.
But
does that make sense?
Right. And you want to share the truth.
Yes.
With the person, whether it's going to hurt them or not.
Exactly.
Too, as well.
So I started to think about this person's persona, and I said, wait, this person's don't really have integrity because I'm telling them what bothered me, and they're not even acknowledging what bothered me. They're only acknowledging how they felt or what I did. Like there's no acknowledgement of what I said.
Okay, so when we get to talk about the relationship, so when you're dating someone, when you're in a relationship, I think that's when your ego is most
ding ding ding
being flexed. So if you're telling someone, hey, we went out for a month and I decided, hey, this is not a good fit.
What is there more to say?
Yeah, I mean,
unless you want to actually hear.
Everybody's not open to. Okay, what is it that didn't fit? Or they're gonna be like, oh, that's just your problem, and whatever what you're saying is not legit because you don't even know what a good man is. You don't even know.
That's exactly how it went.
All these things.
No, you're actually saying exactly how it went because he said that.
Right. So it kind of goes into one of the topics that I want to talk about, even in a sexual relationship, critiquing. Having a man that's open or having a woman that's open to the critiques that happens in the bedroom. Everyone is not receptive or they have issues with getting feedback from now. You've been hitting it out the park. All your 20s or whatever the case may be.
With one person.
With one person.
Everyone told you that you're amazing,
right,
and then this person tell you're not, and you're like, girl, I know I'm amazing because everybody told me I was amazing.
Right. So it's like, so then it does play to the male and the female ego, because now it's like, I'm sharing you the most intimate part of me.
Yes.
And I know what I'm giving, what I'm serving is a 10, and I know it's hot peach cobbler or whatever, how you want to how you want to phrase it. So, and you're telling me that it tastes like
mop water.
Yes, it tastes like applesauce, right? I tell you it's peach cobbler, but whatever. But so it's like the words. So now sticking with the theme. So the words that you choose when you're critiquing somebody in this delicate moment, because it could be delicate.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it could be right out the moment.
It may not even just be delicate. It may be triggers for that individual person.
Right. And there's been times where, you've been stopped. I put myself out there. Oh, no, that's not working. Try this. So are you open to changing gears? LeVar Bell. LeVar Ball. Yeah. Are you open to changing gears if your partner says, hey, what you're doing,
And that's exactly what I mentioned to that individual. I said, I see that you are unwilling and not open to making the adjustments. And that's fine. But what I'm saying is, like, it's fine that you are not willing to do that for me, or you're not willing to do that in this circumstance. Therefore, go on and be great without me.
So the words that you choose, there's a way that you could say it that could shut the person down.
It can. But the thing is, I realized that person knew they were being shut down, but they didn't like that I shut them down because I have never given them an indication. So I've been observing this entire time. Right. I've never been kind of aggressive a lot. I mean, we did have our spats, but I kind of backtracked to see. To me, when I want to see how someone fight. So if I'm ever in any type of dispute, I want to see what disappointed you, what made you mad, and how you're going to react to that. So for the entire time that we had these different spats or these disagreements, I only observe how they felt.
Okay. So do you approach it different? And I think the answer is yes, but then I want to know how you approach it different if the answer is yes. So with this guy, you made a decision in your mind probably over a week ago that I'm going to bring this relationship to closure, and I'm going to tell him why.
Yeah.
But let's say it's someone that you guys are having a hard time gelling, but you wanted to make it work.
Oh, that was this situation. Okay. That was this situation.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this person, because I felt we had compatibility in so many ways, but their inability to actually say, because he recognized that I was different than what he dated. He recognized that. He said it verbally, not in those particular ways, but he also said it indirectly too in other ways. But I recognize, like, you don't really want to get to know someone that you've never met. You really want the same things that you're used to.
That's a good point.
And I can't do anything about that until you're ready and make that effort. I can't force him to make an effort because then it becomes cantankerous. And that's what I said to him.
Yeah, people... It's like, when you're introducing a new food, hey, I'm used to you cooking this...
I'm used to eating steak.
Yeah.
I'm not used to eating seafood. But I introduce you to seafood and you're like, I'm not used to you eating that. But why have you never been open to that?
But sometimes you got to introduce it as a surf and turf. You got to give them the meat.
You have to give them different. But that was why I was at the point in which I was like, hey, you're not willing, because I have tried to dress things up with a different flavor, try to add a different seasoning. I tried to do all these things, but I recognize that no outlet for it to be the beginning. Nothing is you're not kind of receiving me well in what I'm doing. So more so, you're taking it as an assault. I mean, more so as like I'm assaulting you. Yeah. Because everything that I try to dress up, it was like, you do this, you give your opinion. I'm actually trying to let you know how I feel about that, or I'm trying to let you know how I am.
So if you're in a relationship and you with your man, give the audience some tips on if you're going to critique your man, whether it's in the bedroom, or critique them about their work habits or whatever. What's the best way delicately to present it to them that they are open to that criticism
I
or
think
observation.
one, you have to know your person, your audience, and what they need that will help them, that will help you deliver the information that they will receive it, and that's observing. So if that's showing them in the moment, do so. If that's saying it or having a sidebar conversation, because I've done things indirectly to have guys to have a conversation. So I'll sit and watch a movie on purpose that I want to talk about with them about something, and be like, how do you feel about that? Just so we can open up the dialogue.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to be I don't want the conversation to be too stiff.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like, so the other night when you didn't introduce me to your female friend, so I will find ways. That's the thing about me. I am like a problem solver, critical thinker person. I will find different ways to connect with you. But when I notice that I am using all of my resources or too many, then I have to say, is this effort worth it? Will this person go to this extent for me for the same effort to make sure that I'm good, that I'm going to for them?
Right. And I think that we have to expect some type of change or some type of tweaking.
Yes.
Let's say, okay.
But that's the thing. What you're saying, David, is all about openness. You have to be willing and open to actually receive that in order to get or obtain someone or something different that may actually work out for you.
Yeah, because it's not one size fit all type situations. Because we're dealing with people with different personalities and different responses and things like that, and different, of course, a lot of different backgrounds.
Oh
that
yeah,
make the person.
That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, who they are. So if you let's say I've been married and I was married to this person for 5 years, I can't think that I could bring the same formula to this next relationship.
Exactly.
And that's in terms of the way I talk to the person, and even the way I love, sex the person, all of these things.
Right. So do you agree, though, not to cut you off, but do you agree that there still have to be, see, what you're saying is good, right? But do you agree that there has to be a level of openness? Like, you have to be willing to receive that, because how else can I convince you of that?
Yeah, but you have to
quote
be
like,
willing,
I'm not trying
openness.
to, but I'm, trying to.
Right, and you have to be willing to seek the best with the new person.
Yes.
And like, if I can't give you the delivery that I was giving, and when I say delivery, that means in everything, the delivery of love, the delivery of everything that I was giving to my girlfriend in 2016.
Yes.
It's like now there's
my ex-fiance that didn't work out.
Yeah, there's a new person. That means it got to be some new tricks. It got to be open to just
It's a new
learning.
slate. It's a new slate.
Yeah.
And so everything that you're mentioning, David, is my reasoning for why I sent this person the message and why I said what I said. And in the message, because of what you said, because it was quite a lengthy message. Now, I don't send these long messages, but I knew that, like, if I didn't send this message, I would just be back in circling with this person. And I said, you are not willing to learn me. You haven't learned me. Because how can you tell me about myself and it's only been a month?
Yeah.
I've been living with me for 30 plus years and barely can tell you about. So there's no way you know me.
Yeah.
And we don't live together, stay together. Like, we're not married. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, think about that.
Yeah. And so then, like I said, we're talking about words, and we're talking about, you have to be
intentional.
And you have to have an end game in terms of what are you trying to accomplish in this
open.
conversation. Yeah. But then, so then let me give you a tip for usage of words.
Okay.
Because, I'm married, and,
yes, tell us.
Things happen.
I was going to ask you that, so I'm glad you segued to that.
Yeah, things happen, and when you get in arguments with your spouse, you're always saying, you didn't do this,
yes.
you didn't take me out, and you said you were going to do that. So the trick, not trick, a tip.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
glad you changed that up quickly.
Those things as tricks, different strokes for different folks. So tip is, okay, instead of saying, hey, D'Angela, you're stupid. You didn't take me out, and you said you were going to take me out.
Harsh.
That's not how I talk.
I don't receive that well.
Instead of saying that, say when the weekend comes, D'Angela, and we don't do nothing together, it makes me feel that you're not really engaged with me.
David, that's amazing of a delivery.
Right. So the delivery has to be, instead of saying you, take out you and replace it with
technical writing.
me.
It's basically technical writing, technical verbiage.
Right. Yeah. When this happens,
take out the pronouns.
When this happens, it makes me feel such and such. So therefore, the person's not under attack, and you kind of flipped it, and you made it about you, which it should be about you.
Because you're delivering how you felt.
Right. So then, therefore, we could address, how can I feel different? How can we address and give me a new feeling?
That's exactly what my message. That's exactly the logistics of my long message. What you said, that was my angle.
Okay.
I mentioned everything, but without saying, really using pronouns. None of my message really had I, or you.
Right,
so when the person responded back and said it's a lot of finger pointing, it was interesting that they got that when I've never said or given an example on how they did anything wrong.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So that's when I realized, I was like, this is a lost cause. It's not going anywhere. Like I was like, and it made sense, because his response was like, I'll call you later, but I don't see this being different. Right?
Okay.
That was his response to my long message. So I said, if you do not see this going anywhere, there's no need to contact me later. Period. Don't waste your time as much as I don't want my time wasted. But this person still called me later.
Right.
Why?
Because it needs to be on his ground.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. That's exactly what he wanted to do, because when he called me, he was very much angry. You can tell that he read and reread my message, because he started talking about examples from first arguments, and I was like, wait, what? Can I address it? He was like, no, I'm trying to speak. You're talking over me. You always talk over me. Everything was like, it was just, like I said, cantankerous. Do not call if you think this is going to be, I don't want this. I said to him, I do not want this to become cantankerous. And he called me with that notion anyway, because I recognized he wanted the last word.
Gotta get the last word, and it almost goes back to our friend Jay. It's like, whether the management said we were going to fire anyways, that's their
wanted the last word. And when you said that, that's what would remind me of that early on. But I didn't want to tell the story until later. He as an employer want to go around and brag and boast to the other people to say that, but he didn't recognize that when you say such things and use such words with certain people, they would deliver your message all wrong. Which there's no wrong about. It's nothing different that person could have said and used those words differently, other than taking them for themselves on how that individual is in general, or how this organization is in general. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it was no way to deliver that to a new person.
Yeah.
The problem is the new person has allowed that to go completely over their head, that this will happen to you too. It's not if, it's when it does. Right. What are you going to do about it?
Right. Yeah, because it rubbed me the wrong way, even just thinking about it. It's like, and that just shows, like I said, the immaturity of the person.
Yes.
Unprofessional. Then, like I said, some information is best to just keep it to yourself, whether it's true or not. But if you know that the end goal is not, if you know by you speaking, it's not going to add any value.
Right.
To the situation.
It doesn't approve upon the silence, as Gandhi say.
Correct. then it's best just keep it shut.
Yes. All right. So I guess we should wrap up here before we get any lengthier. And last week you thought we were supposed to continue.
Yeah.
So, and we want to try to do as short as possible with our conversations, but how we go and get going. So we're gonna have to wrap this up in another topic, David, and revisit it.
Yeah, and I see over
stop looking at my notes.
Peeking at your notes.
Why are you looking at my notes?
No, that was good because you you did some homework, and
I always do my homework.
And I agree. And this was the week of Dr. Martin Luther King, and he was one of the better leaders.
How you gonna use my notes for your
with his words? Because you're supposed to bring up that. Hey, he had some. His words were great.
This is what I go through, guys. Yeah. Anyway, send us your feedback. Follow us. Until next week, coworkers.
Bye.
Bye.